Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Lightning's Retribution A Flash Fangame podcast. With me today, as always, is my co-host, Savitar.
Hey, people.
This one's been a bit of fun to get going.
Yeah, what is this? Second or third time lucky? Hopefully.
About 100, I think. Just trying to sort out the audio and the number of small tests I recorded, just to figure it out. We've had some audio problems. We started recording the podcast. We were about how far through? Far enough, and then we had to sort of stop. Then we've had to stop and just redo the entire thing.
Let me just scroll up. We were
doing it on Friday, I think.
Yeah, we was doing it then.
So
or was
it's
it
like
Saturday?
3 days later.
Yeah. But we'd done 2/3 of it.
Yeah, roughly. Even though like the last point is meant to have like a lot of debate anyway, so that'll be fun when we get there.
Yeah. In the last 2 minutes, my battery's gone down 2%. I better put it on charge at some time.
Hopefully it continues to work while we record this, or if it doesn't, you'll just quickly put your mic in your computer and do it that way.
Yeah. I would say maybe I should do it that way, but I was like, then again, I can't use my mouse and everything becomes really fucked up for me.
Just sort of sit there and talk and just lean back. It's what I do.
Alright, Mr. Classy Warrior.
Not really, because I am sort of like looking over at other things at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. You get use the mouse. I don't. God's sake. I mean, if I could, I would do that. Just, I'd have my phone on charge, put my computer, sit there and just play my PlayStation. But my mum's using that at the moment, so whip.
It's all going well for you then, is it?
Yeah. I'm just downloading the worst one of the worst programming languages ever.
Because
Scratch.
Why not? Oh
Scratch.
Lord! Even I've used that, and I cannot program for shit.
Yeah. Thing is, though, you can actually turn some Scratch games into like EXEs, or if you make it's a lot easier to make it in Scratch.
I'll tell you what is funny. I used to have like private tuition when I was doing my GCSEs.
Of course you did.
Yep. That's not the funny thing. That's not the funny thing.
Yeah, better.
But my teacher, well, she was a teacher from my school who was doing the tuition. It was like for maths and English. She showed me this like YouTube video of an actual English teacher who had literally taken the time to go and program a load of stuff into Scratch of him playing a guitar and making a song about like an English technique for the GCSE paper.
Jesus Christ.
and he didn't just do it for one video. The song bit was just for the one video, but he made this animated character for at least 2 videos. Where he programmed like
that's
the mouth moving.
One.
And he programmed the mouth moving and everything. It's brilliant.
Well, yeah, he animated it.
No,
come on.
He did all of that in Scratch.
Jesus. I can imagine the loops he had right now.
That must have been brilliant.
Right now I'm sitting here wondering why the fuck is it not downloading, for fuck's sake.
Of all the questions though, why are you downloading Scratch?
Just, I'm hoping it'll work on my laptop, okay? I'm hoping it'll work on my laptop. Pictin Fusion works on my laptop, but if you try to run the game on there, even if it's literally just black text on the white background, you're screwed.
Going well then.
I really need a new laptop. Well, a better new laptop. If I found £1,000, I'm going straight down to a laptop shop. Well, screw it up. Actually, no, it's got to be portable. Otherwise, I would just go down to a computer. Well, now I think about it, I couldn't I because of all the people blame it on the Bitcoin miners. Not even the Bitcoin miners. All the other people, like the Ethereum miners, the Bitcoin, all the other ones that aren't Bitcoin that require GPUs.
Sounds fun.
And it's driven the prices up. Like, you know, you get those 1080 Ti's or whatever.
English, please.
That's the name of that's a really good graphics card. 1080 Ti or whatever.
Yep.
Like, usually about 200 to 300 quid. People have been finding them in shops for like 700 quid.
Jesus.
All because of altcoin miners. But whenever you see people say about it, like, oh, those Bitcoin people, it's like literally every time someone's going like, it's not the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is done by the central processing unit, not the graphics processing unit.
Ah, fair enough.
It's ridiculous. People forget every time. What is it with people always forgetting that one subject? It's like, it is seriously like the Flash wave again. Every year they have a break around this time. Every year everyone's like, oh, another break. It's like, it's a schedule. Get used to it, you fucking pricks.
Although, to be fair, I can see why the breaks are annoying. Maybe if you had more than 3 episodes before.
Oh no, they've scheduled it purposely this time because last year they had to have another break. Yeah, it was only a week break around this time. Yeah.
Why did they need to have a break last year?
Because the finale was on May 23rd. They started a week early. If they hadn't, the finale would have been a week after.
How is like that a big deal?
Well, let's write all about this for season 3, episode 9. So,
it's because they screwed themselves over with a date, didn't they? They couldn't just make it at a random point. They had to screw themselves over with a date.
To be fair though, if they'd screwed, you could argue that it being a couple got her dying, like the finale happening, most of the finale happening a few days after, or a day after, whatever. You could chalk it up to timeline difference because timeline changed a lot. Oh, it's like I calculated the amount of timeline changes we've seen in the amount of timeline changes we've know of in the Flash, all the seasons up to season 4.
Why have you done that?
It's actually quite easy. Do you want the long answer or the short answer?
I don't want either answer. I want to know why you're actually bothering to spend your time doing that.
Oh, because I found an old thing that I did of it back in season 3.
Mate, there are people on YouTube who do this and they get monetization from it. Look at Comic Books versus the World. It's his job to spend.
I did it for fun. I did it for fun and I enjoyed it. Anyway, the answer is infinity. Infinity times 2 plus 1. Infinity. You know why? The Savitar loop. That's why.
Yeah, but then that technically ended after.
Exactly. Exactly. Hence, infinity times 2 plus 1. You can't just gloss over that plus 1 I said. God's sake.
I'm just still wondering why you would spend your time doing that. Anyway.
I'm a nerd, okay? I collect comics. I have my own game company. I'm a fan of FNAF. I'm a fucking nerd.
I'm a nerd. Even I don't spend my time doing that.
You a nerd. Then again, you do have the glasses for it.
But, right. So that's what we're going off, are we? We're going off stereotypes.
Well, I'm like the loner that's always sitting in his room on the computer. So yeah, you're on the glasses and weird hair. I've got weird hair too, though. Actually,
I've seen your hair. Your hair is weird. Mine is just normal. While I quickly go and turn the lights on, I'll let you explain what we're discussing on the podcast today. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, well, today, people, our first point is reviewing the latest Flash episode. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you've seen it. You actually go and watch it. I haven't seen it myself. Well, all of it anyway. But it's Season 4, Episode 16, Run Iris 1. The second point is discussing any doubts we have about the rest of the season. I barely have any. Kanan has a lot, as you'll see soon.
That is indeed true.
Because I already know some of them from the last recording.
The last attempted recording before
And the
like
third
audio
point
problems. The
is
third point.
discussing...
No, the third point will leave as a surprise.
Discuss why you hate someone. Anyway, and because the order messed up, you want to reveal that surprise you wanted to say about?
I do have a secret to reveal, actually. If we're talking about the latest episode, have you seen the whole thing yet?
Secretly, he's a millionaire.
No, I fucking wish.
If he was, if he's a multi-millionaire, you'd go and buy a license from DC right now, wouldn't you?
I would be very tempted.
However, you'd have to do work first. Honestly, because of how many fan games get cease and desisted, some of them get shut down. Like not in the public eye, they shut down quietly. I think that is where most of their hiring comes from. Like for the game ones, they find a good fan game that isn't as well. They find someone who looks like they're promised. Jesus, my mouth
Promising.
today. Yeah, they find someone who looks promising from the game that hasn't got too much attention. They hire them, and they get them on one of their games. That's probably how they do it. Imagine if they literally just, because of how popular it is, imagine if they literally just gave Techo a license for free. Unlikely, but it's still a possibility in any universe.
I have a feeling it could end up just happening, knowing the luck that Techo has, because he does have
Yes, exactly. All the good modelers, although, I mean, he does seem cool, but I mean, if I was in Techo's feet and did that, I would literally just manage to squeeze all the other DC fan games into it as like DLC or stuff.
I think everyone would, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know about Techo though. I mean, sometimes he gets a bit competitive, but can't blame him really.
Can you blame anyone for that? Although,
no.
The secret I want to reveal from the latest episode is I don't actually think it was that bad.
I know, surprising.
Very surprising. That said,
I was expecting you to hate it so much you wanted to kill yourself.
Oh no, I hated it from a very story point sort of perspective. If you take it away from the main story, for the most part, like, you know, it's a TV series, it's fairly late in, so you don't really have that kind of freedom. But if you take it away from the story point for the most part, then, to be honest, I think it works well just as something just to have a bit of fun.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's just like my honest perspective, though.
Yeah.
Have you actually seen the whole thing yet? Because when we first did this, you hadn't.
No.
Okay, well, you didn't miss much. I mean, it's all just there for filler anyway, really. But what did you think of it?
From most of it, which I saw, I thought it was good. Good.
What about the guy just screaming money?
Money!
I don't know why that's so funny. It's probably just the way that he was directed to act it, and it's just like, you know what, mate, Fairs, you're probably the highlight of the episode.
Yeah, he's stupid, but he is good. He's a good part.
No, he's the highlight of the episode, mate. They need to just get him on as like a series regular villain who's just obsessed with money.
Oh yes, yes. Oh, but he had his firepower taken away, didn't he?
Think of the memes that would be made.
Mimi.
Oh wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Imagine someone splicing different scenes together. So Joe, back talking to Saboteur or whoever it was. What do you want? Money.
Yeah, I think he even said that in the episode.
What? Joe said, "What do you want?" and he replied with money.
Someone said something a bit similar.
Oh my god.
No, but let's be serious. From a story point, yeah, let's get to the serious part of this.
No, not that. I put in Flash 4 X16 money and it didn't come up.
Nah, but like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If we're to discuss the episode seriously, which I think we should, it's not needed, and I don't really think that they gain anything from making it, apart from a lot of fan backlash, which there's been plenty of. Even before the episode, people were already writing it off, and to be fair, I can't blame them. I was, for the most part, writing it off.
You're that hero from the back, aren't you?
Oh, you're watching the scene.
Well, what? What are we talking about?
You're watching
What are you
the
talking
scene.
about?
You're watching the
sorry.
scene.
You scared me for me.
No, but seriously, let's discuss this. You can watch the scene after. Dylan, let's just do this, mate. Because, we need to get these recorded.
And now I'm going to get what he couldn't. Money!
It's literally just that kind of thing, I know. But
I love it.
I know, it's brilliant.
It shouldn't make you laugh, but it does.
It does. I think it's just the way that he was told to act it as someone who's just very egotistical and stuff. And
yeah.
Okay. You can send
go out for a second for everyone else that's watching this. Oh, fuck's sake, it messed up. Anyway, so people, in case you for some reason never seen it, this is what we're talking about.
What he couldn't.
Money!
It's literally, the audio quality won't be that good, but people can probably find it.
I'm just able to hear money.
Yeah, no, but let's actually discuss sort of the episode and the fan reaction to it, because I think those points can just fit into one, even if we didn't put it on the plan. I think the fan reaction, given a lot of what we've seen of Iris's character of late, which I'll discuss this more later as well, is somewhat justified. I'm not angry that people wrote it off, but I do think what does slightly bother me a bit is the fact that there were just people on IMDb reviewing it as just 1 out of 10 the worst episode ever, just because Iris wasn't the center stage. I can understand you don't like the character, and maybe this is CW's version of way of saying, we get it, we're sorry, let us try something different.
Oh my god. I looked at his transcript. Money said 4 times in this transcript, and that guy says it 3 times. Why do I get my money? And now I'm going to get what he couldn't. Money. I've got a plan, lady, and it's called Give Me My Money. Finally, so. Can we just call him
Money Man?
Burning Cash.
No, but
come on, that's a good name, Burning Cash.
That's fairly good. No, but Dylan, what? I spoke to you last time about the reviews of the episode on IMDb, both critically and from fans.
Oh yeah. What's it? Let me see what they are now. Cause I'm on my laptop and so I'm gonna just look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a quick look on my phone as well. But I also said to you last time, a lot of people were sort of just going in with a lot of yeah, a lot of people were going in with very blind hatred towards it, I think. And it's not really much and I'm not really surprised. I think, but if you want to try and make a review, don't make a review just for this one episode just because of how much you hate a certain character from it.
Exactly, Kanan.
No, hang on. Because here's what I do. I was able to... I could separate this episode from being in the main story. And that was fine. It worked really well if it was separate. If you did this as maybe an alternate Earth version of Iris, who happens to be a speedster, she comes in maybe to track a threat, for maybe a bigger... For maybe a 2-episode arc, that would work.
I thought it was going to be good because they always do a 2-episode arc around this time of the season, but they seem to have forgotten that. Maybe it's because there's not enough, because everyone's saying they need to put more stuff into it, they need to put more stuff in the main villain, and now we've missed out on the 2-season arc.
Most of the fan reviews are averaging at 1s or 2s. There are some 3s, some 4s.
I just realised. I know why we didn't get a 2-story arc this year.
What?
Because we got a 3-episode story arc.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. To be fair, that works. That works quite well, actually. But let's be honest.
It lasts longer than your normal as well. But you were saying?
Yeah, let's be honest. If the fans are going in just to purely hate on this character,
It's not much of them.
are you even a reviewer? Like,
No.
have you seen any positives of the episode that way? I can see positives of the episode. Like, I don't think they should have done it either this late into the season or with this kind of storyline.
Yeah.
One of those things has to be taken out and changed.
Yeah, I mean, a good part about the episode. Money!
That is probably the best bit, though, to be fair. And like,
At first, it's like HR. At first you hate it, but then you love it.
I actually hated HR through the majority of season 3.
Yeah, shut up. No one asked you. No one asked you.
No, I'm just I'm just giving an honest opinion. I've said before. I said in the LR Discord actually, in like the fan off topic. I can't remember who was asking.
Yeah.
But they were saying, "Oh, why do you hate HR?" And it's just like I don't really think his comic relief or humor was really needed. I don't think it fits.
Oh, come on! You saw the tone of the season. He needs to be there at times.
At times, like it was worth the while. I mean, for like the brief arc Jesse had last season, he was pretty good to have around as well for that sort of moment. And but then
Also, so what part do you think HR shouldn't have been there then? Like what parts?
I think mostly just the earlier stuff of the season when he's first brought in.
When he first brought in, because that was before the darkness. Because that was all like it was all normal Flash. Then it's revealed I was going to die.
Yeah.
And then that's when it got dark, and I loved it. Again, I am quite biased towards like dark stuff anyway. So
I don't mind like dark arcs or whatever in TV shows. I think Arrow and the Flash do them well.
yeah.
Legends, even with the humour being very cringy at times, I think is probably the place for it.
Oh yeah.
And Supergirl serves as the perfect kind of middle ground.
So I've only found one episode that was as bad as When I Was One, like review wise.
Yeah.
Duet, the music master one, which is funny because most people actually loved that.
See, I can understand people not liking it critically, and like I disagree. I think they should have done what I've done with this episode: separate it from the rest of the season and just look at it from maybe a fun. Here's a bit of a change point of view.
It had nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah.
It has less to do with the plot than When I Was One did. Oh yeah, there's only one episode that got worse than When I Was One, and
it's the Girls' Night Out one. I know you told me in our last attempt to record.
Yeah, 5.5 at the moment.
Here's the thing with that episode. That episode was meant to sort of spread a message. I don't think the producers were overly interested in much. Although that said, I've got a part of that episode I want to discuss later when we get to the second point.
No.
So you'll have to bear with me on that, but I think you'll also agree that there are some questions there.
No. Oh yeah.
So, you know, just separate it from the majority, I think. Separate it from the rest of the season, it's an alright episode. Put it in there and it's just like, no, we really didn't need this. You've only done this for fan service to try and, like, convert fans who hate Iris back to liking her.
What, Saturday?
Which, I don't think it worked.
Iris kind of had speed powers in the comics as well.
I know, which is why I'm thinking it's a bit of fan service.
In reality, they might have been just getting that out of the way with as quick as possible.
See, I don't...
Remember, they had to introduce the plot. They had to have a reason to get that over and done with. So have it as the guy who's now helping them swap powers. There we go. Easy way for her to temporarily have powers like in the comics, and then she has it taken away again. Well, in the comics, she never really had them. They were kind of leeching into her or something like that. It was like slow. They stopped or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think it depends. It's really, yeah, no, I think that I don't really think we needed it. Like, it would have worked better for it to be an alternate Earth sort of idea. I've said this before. I said this on the cancelled podcasts from earlier in the year, and sort of when we went on break. We didn't really need to have this episode. It only would have really been worth having if it was from a different Earth or something, or maybe done at a different time.
Oh my
Overall,
god.
even though you've not seen the entire thing, you don't really need to, by the way. You can sort of guess how it all goes. But what did you think about it?
Why do you need to see all the episodes when you have money?
I know, but point is, even though you've not seen the whole thing, what do you think of it?
Oh, I love the episode.
I question, like, did we really need this? Like, I get you're trying to put Easter eggs in there from the comics, but you know that there are a lot of fans who hate Iris. Maybe he actually try and improve the character a bit before, or you do this?
Maybe.
Although, I can't really think of anything more to say about it. Can you?
No.
Shall we move on to point 2 then?
Yep. Oh god dang it! Before that, so people, at some point, we will be giving a shout out to a new Flash fan game that isn't in Techo versus Fangame Hub, because I've recently got a part for it. I auditioned as his future Flash, and I got the part.
Could you not just have said that at the end of the podcast?
Remember, it was meant to be done at the beginning, but because we were so worried about the audio and stuff like that, we've got that. So
you never even told me you were going to do that. But fair enough.
It was in last week's. It was in the last recording that we tried to do. So
okay. No, you've got to say. Okay, so season 4. Ironically, I saw Paigey make a video with this same question as the title. I've not watched it. It's 24 minutes long though, so it's just like I don't really have the time to right now. But he just the title of the video is, "Does the Flash season 4 suck?" The short answer, yes, it does.
no,
Well, the short answer for me is yes, and a lot of that I think I've discussed with you privately is just down to plot holes. I don't really think.
I still say there's not piles.
Pardon?
I still say there's no piles. Well, there's no blatant piles, even though you think there is.
Well, here's one for you. What about that fucking magical tears weeping guy from episode 5? We haven't seen him.
No, but we saw Davone use his tears, and he's being held captive.
How have we seen Davone use his tears? I'm sorry, where was that?
At the ending of Flash episode season 4, episode 13, because he went into Becky's body. Then in the next scene, in their lair, in the pocket dimension, as it turns out, we see him get a vial, and put some of the weepy drug into her drink, and she drank it, and it made her more loving towards him, and it kind of keeps her obedient.
I'm sorry, right? But there are far too many either blatant plot holes, in my opinion, or just plot holes in general that I just do not want to see from this season. There are more plot holes here, big or small, that we really just do not need.
But sign up to become a writer for CW then. Good luck.
No, here's the thing though. There are a lot of plot holes, and I said to you on our first attempt of doing this, I don't think they've done Davone well as a villain for the season at all. They've dug themselves into a hole. I brought stuff up.
Just remember, in the comics, there's always been two thinkers.
Yeah, no, regardless of whether there have been two or not, I'm talking purely off the show version. No comic Easter eggs or whatever at all. You claim he wants to teach the world, fine, whatever, maybe. But then there's the question of, what's this enlightenment you're talking about? What's the end game to make the world be taught? You haven't really shown us any hints towards that, which normally we get towards this point in the season, if not earlier.
Well, we found out about Septar's plan proper plan, not like what? So 21 to 23. So 20 to 23, I reckon.
We knew
Because
his main plan was to kill Iris, but his backup plan, I was perfectly fine with them revealing at the point that they did.
oh yeah,
This is the Thinker's main plan I'm on about, and we don't really know all that much about it. If what you claim is true.
I mean, we've got Janet Petty coming in, a Janet Petty version of Null from the comics, who can control like people's gravity or whatever. So that's gonna be cool.
See, here's the point though. With this season, I don't see it improving. You joked about this last time, but I think the point where it picks up, like you made the joke of, will be the end of episode 23. Music by Blake Neely. That's where I think it picks up.
And Nathaniel Bloom. Can't forget him now.
Who's Nathaniel Bloom?
Oh, he's one of the writers for. He's one of the music guys now. At the end of the episode, it says music by Blake Neely and Nathaniel Bloom, which is ironic because everyone's like, "Oh, I know how season 4, episode 1's going to end." Music by Blake Neely. Season 4 comes out, end of the episode by Blake Neely and Nathaniel Bloom. Everyone's like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
See, here's the point though. Yeah. I've no longer got any hope for the rest of the season. I don't really care about it. I just want to see, is there any story behind this, or are they just trying to go too many different ways? I made a lot of comparisons to season 2 as well, where I said, no, at least with Zoom, Zoom may not have had clear motivations throughout most of the season. At least he did stuff. The thing is just sat there and mostly done nothing.
I mean, in a way, Zoom has been a money guy. Instead of money,
yeah, pretty much. But like,
that guy's no meme, and I hope he is happy.
There you go. But if I am being serious though, I find myself drawing in my subconscious mostly, but I am occasionally drawing these parallels between season 2 and season 4. Zoom did stuff because he was actually an intimidating villain. I said to you last time as well, I'm fine with the villain not being a speedster, but then they need to try and work hard to prove he's a bit of a threat. They've not really done that with the Thinker this season, so I haven't really cared. In my opinion, there are like only a couple of good things to come out this season, which I said to you last time. The scene in episode 7 where Davone reveals to Barry that he's actually either quote-unquote villain as opposed to unstable guy who's got a brain too big. And we'll go from there. And we're going to take a break because I'm being called for dinner. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the podcast is back.
Yep.
You need to...
It's been like 20 minutes.
Yep. You need to mute your Discord because I can hear the notifications coming through. What was it we were actually discussing?
How I've just made a meme?
No.
No. For real, I literally just have.
I know we were discussing Devo stuff. What specifically?
About his enlightenment.
Pardon?
About his enlightenment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I've got an expanding meme brain. Oh my god. Expanding brain meme, I mean. And we're talking about Thinker.
Yeah.
I didn't put anything about that one. Jesus.
Yeah,
God's sake.
I think I was saying, like, just how, at least at some point around this time in previous seasons, it was episode 15 for season 1, it was a lot sooner for season 2 that we knew, like, the main plan was because Zoom obviously was power hungry, wanted Barry's speed and stuff like that.
I need your speed. Basically, yeah.
And then season 3, we knew at episode 9 what the main plan was. This time, we don't know anything about, like, the main quote-unquote threat the Thinker plans to present to us. At least, like, I'd settle for a hint. Just a substantial one that could get some fan theories going, maybe.
Really? Really? I mean, would you mean like the enlightenment you mentioned?
See, the enlightenment, quote-unquote enlightenment, isn't enough to sort of get
He wants to
me...
teach the world.
I don't care if it's teaching the world, okay? I'm saying purely for however he's going to do that, or why he was mentioned so much for being such a threat last season by Abracadabra and Savitar,
Yeah.
as to how he gained
There's
that
others, of
reputation.
course.
But
Zoom, Bond, Devoe, but none of them hurt you like Savitar. So apparently Savitar's his worst villain. I guess Joe can only go worse from here. Tut tut. Tut tut.
no, seriously, Savitar was probably.
That's the thing about time travel, Kanan. The more you do it, the less the rules apply to you.
I don't care, like, what. See, here's the thing. He's a broken character, and CW or the writers have dug themselves into a hole, especially with how they're doing him. Again, like with the whole degrading of bodies thing, I meant we only spoke about this briefly last time, obviously for understandable reasons, and real world, we know the reasons why to this.
AOS. He got that Stephen Hawking disease. No. Oh yeah. People watching, most of you probably know who Stephen Hawking is, and the first time Kanan heard about Stephen Hawking was for me when I gave him the meme about his death. First time he ever heard of Stephen Hawking. Is that right, Kanan?
That is correct.
Don't ask me how, though. I do not know. How no one can know.
Here's the thing. Even though he had that, his body survived for, 3 years? Years? And again, we know the real world reasons as to why his body can't, the bodies he's invading or taking over or whatever, aren't surviving as long this time. But what's the in-universe explanation? Like, I know you've theorized it's the dark matter, but like, even then, like, the chair was able to compensate for it. It won't compensate as well now unless it's been modified, which, again, has it been modified? What's going on with it?
Actually, wasn't she working on it just a few episodes ago? Wasn't she working on it?
I don't know, because the episodes are forgettable. The episodes of this season are utterly forgettable. Or at least from the second half. Things went downhill after the ending of episode 13.
She was working on it when she come in as Becky, remember? She was as Becky, and Marley's had a little snap at him, whatever.
Here's the main thing, though. The majority of this season has been forgettable. It's been laughable with, in my opinion, how bad it is. Because now you're saying the majority of those fans who are hating on Season 3, they're going back and they're being like, okay, actually, maybe Season 3 wasn't so bad. Maybe we haven't actually seen the lowest these writers can go.
Of course we have. Arrow Season 4.
No, even Arrow Season 4 was a lot better, because at least the villain was threatening. At least he was doing something villainous. At least we had hints as to what his motives were. With this, we've got pretty much nothing.
Who was villain of Season 4 again?
Damien Dark.
Okay, Miss Magic.
Yeah, Mr. Magic guy who could pretty much just use the Force and suck the life force out of people. He was intimidating.
What?
He was his magic more or less consisted of using the Force and stuff, and then he could suck the life force out of people.
That's sucking, Oh yeah, when you have to carefully guess someone's gender. Boy? Nah, but
This is the thing, though. This is the thing. People criticise Arrow Season 4 and they criticise Season 3 of The Flash. Okay? But then you've got these situations which you've been dug into for whatever reason. Because all you are doing is... if you're going to do something like this with The Flash, where the villain is not a speedster... Hell, even Supergirl, if the villain can't actually match up to Supergirl's sort of power level, you need to go out of your way to try and convince audiences that yes, they're worth having as a big bad.
Yeah.
What we've got with this season of The Flash is, I said before, I was alright with it being the Thinker. Now it's just like, no, because you've completely done him incorrectly, right? So, my perspective is, how exactly has he earned this reputation where Abracadabra, speaking his name in the future, said that Davone must have hurt him really badly because he was as one of he clearly must have shown up as a main villain in a CW timeline at some point.
Yeah. Well,
And then there's the same question with Savitar. Savitar was also intimidating. We also knew that he was threatening. We also knew that he was this very unstable version of Barry that sort of represented everything Barry wasn't. Okay, they were opposites.
Yeah.
They were opposites for a reason. But
He was basically Barry Zoom Barry.
I'd have put him closer to like the Darth Vader to Anakin Skywalker or some shit.
As in, he basically become like like Hunter, didn't he? A monster.
Yeah, pretty much. Because here's the thing: those villains proved themselves to be a threat. Some even more powerful in the case of Damien Dark than Oliver throughout most of the season. Because in season 4 of Arrow, Oliver is having to decide how can I beat this guy if I can't use magic. And they go to, and for all the lengths that people criticize season 4 of Arrow, they at least held up a stable narrative because they made the effort to show that yes, Oliver has encountered this sort of magical thing before, and you look at that in the flashbacks and you see it, and then you see that here. But if you were to go to say this season of the Flash, because Damien Dark was an intimidating villain, like he was meant. Like, fine, he was goofy, he still is, but that's clearly by character design. Fine, thank you. He's clearly...
That's right.
I'll have a look at that in a second.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but Damien... no, here's the thing. Damien Dark is designed to be this sort of goofy character he's a villain, he's still light-hearted, right? Then you've got the thing of... Here's another good example. Or that was in a way a bit more of a light-hearted one. I can't really think right now. But there probably were other ones, maybe not exactly as like the main threats of a season, but they were smaller sub-threats that led up to the main one.
Oh dang. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And they were at least still intimidating. My main criticism of season 4 is that the villain... If you're going to have a guy who's not a speedster, who's already very limited by these... Maybe the in-universe explanation you're suggesting is true, or maybe it's just the fact of like, they haven't addressed it yet, and there's no excuse for that. You need to go out of your way to show that he's actually a threat to the hero. Because like, you've got a small sense that, like... Davone could have just... done whatever. He could have done his enlightenment within those 3 years, and like I don't think it would have made any difference. Barry would have still stopped him.
He needs Barry for something, hence why he needed to get him back. So he probably is going to take over Barry's body, like in that thing.
I don't even want this season to continue though, because I don't think it gets any better. I think it just continues.
Well, maybe we should say Barry because maybe they're going to do a 2-season villain. Wouldn't that be interesting? They already know. The writer said at the beginning of season 4, they already have season 5 planned. That seems very suspicious.
Having season 5 planned with maybe this guy as the villain, I do not want to see. I want to see them go and...
No, I think all this is leading up to him becoming a much bigger threat. Also, put a picture on so people know.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I've seen the image before.
Yeah, just pop it up.
Here's another comparison.
This is the image I was talking about. Can you put it up?
Yeah,
if not,
sure.
then whip.
Well,
Cheers.
Yeah, sure. Even then, like, regardless, right? I'm still finding myself just there, considering, like, how is it going to be a threat? Like, the image has been up a little bit now. Like, you don't need to see it for long. But then you're looking. I don't like if he's this bigger threat. And then there's this, like, quote-unquote Dawn Allen plot hole. The writers have at least come out and addressed that. Like no, she's not Barry and Iris's daughter. She's someone or something else or whatever. Like, I think back to, like, the criticisms people are saying of, like, season 4 of Arrow was garbage. Not really. You compare the rest of the Arrowverse seasons to this. Fucking Black Lightning is better than this shit of a Flash season. And Black Lightning is fucking awful.
Oh my god! I just realised.
What?
You know, Devoe's actor.
Yeah, Neil Sunderland's. See, here's another thing.
He
When Sunderland's was
looks like an older version. He looks like an older version of Hunter's actor. Not even
Teddy Sears.
kidding.
Teddy Sears.
Yeah, Teddy Sears. I know.
See,
I literally just.
yeah,
That's Teddy. That's Teddy, yeah.
yeah.
And this is Neil. Like both in real life. Tell me they don't look very similar. Come on.
They do look a bit similar. Apart from one of them's actually from South Africa, so the show played a very sort of clever thing with that line as well.
Oh yeah, how Neil is from South Africa in real life. Yeah, I did like that.
And like the
person, Ted Sears was born in Africa as well. No, just kidding. That'd be amazing though. That would be amazing.
No, but like,
and he's 40.
Here's the thing, I can't stop questioning so much of this.
No. Also, you know how I said Neil looks like an older version of Teddy?
Yep.
He's only older by 2 years. Jesus.
Fair enough. Nah, like...
Oh my god!
Can you stop getting distracted? Nah, but like...
Sorry. I just found older pictures of Neil and he looks hilarious.
I do not give
I'll show you later.
I don't give one, mate, right now. I'm in the middle of ranting about Season 4.
I know. So I'm trying to interrupt it.
Well, stop, because, like, I sound like fucking DT from Arsenal Fan TV, for fuck's sakes.
Don't stop believing.
No, I actually sound like him. You go watch one of his videos where Arsenal have lost a game, and you'll be able to make an instant comparison. I'll do that.
Wait, who?
Look up like DT from Arsenal Fan TV when we're done with the podcast, and you're gonna say I sound just like him in this episode.
DT from Arsenal. What kind of name is that? Jesus. Oh, I'm DT from Arsenal Fan TV.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's his real name, but there we go.
I know, but what kind of like channel for anything? Like channel name for anything?
There's one guy on there called Troops. But getting back to the point, when Sunderland was playing the character of Davone, okay, and I'll give credit to Season 4 where it's due. That was good.
Yeah.
You know, you got this sense of he's a menacing. You know, just don't be muted for too long and take this with you. Take your phone with you.
No, I dropped my phone.
Oh. When Sunderland was playing the character, you got the sense of, yes, this guy could be good, this guy's going to be intimidating, this guy, I can play the character well. Dominic's actor, you're getting the same sort of vibes. And then, bam, it's gone. Completely.
Bang, and the jet is gone.
No,
bang.
Just stop. No, serious. That's like, you know, it's true. It is actually true, though, because, you know, you can say what you want about it not being true, and then you look at this, and you're just like, oh, wait, here's this situation and everything. Like, here's this character in the first half of the season who's alright, he's played by a decent actor, and then we get to episode 9, we find out, okay, there's a nice little Easter egg, that might be something sort of good for the first half of the for the next half of the season. Come to find out, he's only in another 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So that in itself is already a letdown. But the guy does a supervillain voice well enough. And
Neil?
Yeah. Well, both Neil and the guy who was playing like Dominic Lance.
Oh yeah. The whole like, most villains usually like they try to build cheery about it as like, mocking them like, "Hello, Mr. Allen," and then him who's got, "Hello, Mr. Allen." It's like just a lot deeper and just more, just like it's just more. What's the word? Cold, so to speak.
You know, like when you had Sunderland's and the guy who played Dominic, I don't know his name. I'm Sorry. Playing Davone. I think you could have just kept the guy who was playing Dominic as Davone for the rest of the season, and it wouldn't really have made much difference. I think only one sort of changing of form was needed, especially when you consider all the in-universe stuff that's against how quickly these bodies decay.
Because Kendrick was a good actor. Kendrick Sampson.
Kendrick Sampson, that's who plays Dominic. Yeah, he's a good actor. The actress who played Becky, I don't think could do the villain voice or the villain thing very well, and I think that's where part of it goes. We've not seen enough of the actress who played Izzy. We've literally just like seen her briefly in like episode 14, and that was it. And then, there's another thing. Where is Davone going in all of these like very long absences? How is there any advancement to the plot when you consider that?
Yeah.
So, just tell me, like, do you see why I'm not looking forward to the rest of this season a bit more?
A little bit, but still not much. I mean, his original body, he still had the Speed Force marks on him, so that needs to be explained.
There's a lot that needs to be explained. Who's the mystery girl, and why is she writing down these marks? What's her involvement in all of this? Is she a series regular or something, and she's just, like, popping up for, like, brief cameos? Does she play into next season? And if they've got it planned out, do we get...
She's always going to be playing as parts in future seasons. That's definite.
Have they actually confirmed it, though? Because we've heard very little from the writers, and they've been more active in past seasons and communicating with fans. Even Grant Gustin and the rest of the cast, like, in terms of, like, dropping things that could get news.
They said that no one's guessed who she is yet.
I know that, but, like, beyond that...
They also said that no one guessed who Savitar was. We don't know how that turned out.
See,
I called it since the very first episode, and I was very, very vocal about it on the internet. So they would have seen my comment once or twice, and not even acknowledging the username, just seeing the comment itself.
Like, that's fair enough, though, because that's a slightly different situation, because throughout Season 3, they were a lot more, in touch with, like, what the fans were saying. More articles were written about it. I can only think of two that have been said, and one of them's not even by the writer. One of them is by the line Jay Garrick said in the End of Flash Time episode about training a new female speedster.
Could be her. But I'm pretty sure it's from his Earth, and she's from this Earth, as far as I'm aware. Well, so far as it seems.
I don't really care. In my eyes, like, as long as they don't add in another side plot this season, that's fine.
We can't really afford any more side plots. Like for one episode, yeah, but a long one, no.
We've got this long side plot of who's this mystery girl. We've got this long...
Oh yeah, that could easily stretch over another season for it to like, reveal at the end of season 5, for example.
They're not. So, here's the thing. Regardless of how bad the writers have been this season, I don't think they're going to piss off the fans by just making them wait that long. Like, fucking hell. I know. I've said I hate him because he's the fucking British stereotype incarnate, but even Constantine would be more worthy of popping up as the villain in this shit.
But he's a hero. Why did he be a villain? For God's sake, Kanan.
See, there's the point. Like,
oh, for God's sake.
No, that's the point, though, because, like, you could have him pop up as this maybe antagonist that Barry doesn't agree with his methods. Think of, like, a Godspeed situation from, like, the first few issues of the Rebirth comics, but with Constantine...
I'd much prefer a Speedster be a Godspeed character, thank you. Not Mr. British Magic. So...
He's the first name that came into my head at that particular moment. So let me just explain this. Think of him coming in as this sort of antagonist and having him, like maybe he's going around, he's doing things Barry doesn't agree with. It'd be an interesting perspective. It would be an interesting season, you can't deny, if they did it right. The same way that if they did Davone right this season, more people would care about it, and people wouldn't be complaining about it so much. I don't even know how long we've spent discussing this point, but all I know is I'm fucking infuriated.
Meh.
Because, like, I think regardless of whatever happens, you're just going to be perfectly happy with the Flash. You're not going to care. No, it's true though. You can't say, hey, I'm wrong. Here's my point of view on this is very simple. It's just like I'm not invested in the rest of the season. Not emotionally. I don't fear anything for any of the characters. Not even Ralph, but that's due to the writing reasons of it. It's like I love Ralph as a character, but the writing overall, for him has been good. But for the larger narrative which he needs to play into was this bus meta, which brings up another plot point I'll ask in a sec. Then brings in the question of how am I meant to be emotionally invested in these characters? I was more emotionally invested in Barry being tired by fucking Flash time when he threw that red ball thingy for the lightning to hit the nuke. That was an actual threat.
The quark sphere.
Could you see where I'm going with this? Just remove yourself as a fan. Remove yourself as a fan. You're coming in. You're just a casual viewer of the Flash. Maybe you enjoy watching it. You think it just makes for a good TV show to watch every week, along with the rest of the Arrowverse ones. Like you care about the sort of overall story of like the Arrowverse and stuff, but you don't know all that much about the Flash, right? Can you do that? No.
So what you asked me is to.
I'm basically asking to separate yourself as a fan and look at it a bit critically.
To believe in the impossible. Think you can do that? You even said that. Think you can do that part. Come on. Anyway, nah, I don't know.
Do you think you can look at this in a critical way? Like,
I have thought.
Not as a fan. You're not looking at it as a fan. You're looking at it as maybe a critic or a casual viewer. Is any of this going to make sense to the casual viewer? I don't think so. I think they'll be just as lost as I am, and I'm a fan of this TV show.
Yeah, but then you don't even know what Rick and Morty is, so your IQ can't be that high.
I've got a perfectly high IQ, thank you.
I bet it's perfectly 101 minus, yeah?
No, but like, here's another sort of plot point that I've been wondering the explanation for. So we've got these bus matters in this season, yeah? Why can Davone only inhabit their bodies? Like, I think we've got the idea of, like, I don't know, maybe that he needed fresh doses of dark matter would be my only option, but why can he only inhabit their bodies? Why not just the bodies of other random metahumans?
1 minute. 1 minute. Flash. Season.
It might just be the fact I'm not paying attention because I'm honestly just
bored. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention at all.
No, hang on.
You get a transcript from the episode. Okay. 2014. Season 4. I say season 4. There we go. True colours. There we go.
I'm only asking it in the way of like, have they really addressed it enough in the show, or have I just stopped paying attention because I'm bored and I honestly have no care for this season anymore?
Okay, here we go. You okay, Barry? Yeah, it's Davone. Barry, we're going to stop him. I know we will. No, that's not it. There was nothing keeping him from going inside the metal wing and absorbing the powers of every metal in Nine Heights. Peekaboo, Top, Weather Wizard. You know, he could have stolen the powers or more, but he didn't. He only wants the bus metas. He wants their powers for something. All of them. He wants the bus metas' powers. No one else's.
Yeah, but like in terms of the bodies to survive and stuff, maybe I'm just overanalyzing this.
Oh yeah, that's because he just needs all he needs is new body. He just needs a new body.
Yeah,
he just wants the bus metas because of their powers. He specifically made them go there, that actually does bring up a plot point. He specifically engineered them to be on that bus, yeah.
How? How are you doing all this stuff for 3 years? is, how are you able to manipulate, regardless of what your powers are? Your powers could be the fucking reality stone from the MCU for all I care, and I'll still question it. How are you gonna make that happen so perfectly? One casualty on a bus, and
he found a way to he found a way to get Ralph on the bus, didn't he? The whole investigating the mayor and all that. He found different ways to get people that eventually lead into the bus. But what I find interesting is, so he specifically made it so they'd end up on the bus, yeah?
Why these people in particular? Why them? Why couldn't you just put, like, 13 or however many random people on the bus?
12.
However many, I don't care. Why couldn't you put
Wait,
this...
12, come on, Canyon. Shut up.
Why couldn't you put this random...
I don't know.
Why couldn't you... Why does it have to be these people in particular? Why not just, like, a selection of random people? You can still use the powers. They might turn out a little bit differently, but... Come on, mate. You can predict however many scenarios of what Cisco is going to call you. Ooh, nice little touch, by the way, with that. I like the sort of subtle joke there of being called the teacher. Yeah, that was a good thing.
That was also nothing about his plan. That's nothing. He mentioned something about enlightenment to Barry or something, I think, at that point, and Barry would have said that in between the scenes. Hence, why the teacher wants to teach the world, boy.
No, that's not the point I'm getting at here. The point I'm getting at is, how do I say this? I've had the perfect train of thought. Why couldn't, like, you can predict however many realities, right? You can predict however many outcomes to a certain situation. Why does it need to be 12 specific people on a bus with these specific powers? Can't you calculate or predict or whatever to get the same outcome you're looking for, even if the powers are slightly different, even if the people are slightly different? Maybe some of them will be the same. There's no guarantee of that. Come on, you can't deny that's a worthwhile question. There are plot holes within, in my opinion, plot holes or parts of the plot that haven't been explained.
What I think it is to do with his DNA and all that. He protected, like, he changed like the results of his DNA and all that. Like, he changed his DNA slightly so it doesn't appear like he's a meta, but he is. His brain is. I mean, it would still change his actual DNA, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then there's the question of how does he do that? How does he do these small little things like that?
He's got a lot of tech. But the biggest plot hole, in my opinion, is, you know how he engineered it so everyone's on the bus?
Yep.
How do you not know the names of the two last bus matters? How do you not know the specific names of them? He's got to find them. Come on! That is a plot hole.
There are loads of plot holes, or there are parts of this quote-unquote
in the second episode, now we find the others. And you set spaces for them.
Yeah, no, here's the point I'm trying to make, though, with this. Here's like the real point I'm trying to make. Is, either parts of the plot haven't been explained enough, or there are small plot holes that then lead to bigger ones when you begin to analyse them. So if you're doing that, and then you're trying to, and then if you're a fan trying to piece it together to make a fan theory, which we know, which the CW must know people do, or people who like the Flash know they do, can't you try and make it a little bit easier for them so you don't get completely shit fan theories?
God.
Kanan?
Yes.
You know how we just recently found out that Davone's been in a pocket dimension?
Yeah. Another question: how the hell did he figure out how to get there?
I don't know, but the transcript of 4x7 of Therefore I Am, season 4, episode 7. Remember when he tried to grab the book from the shelf?
No, I don't, because
He found basically, and she was trying to help me. He said, "Get away from me," and she said, "I'm trying to help you. If you really wish to help me, construct a temporal vortex distortion chamber." That's the pocket dimension. That's where he's been. We got it basically scientifically name dropped back in episode 7, and we didn't even realise it.
Yeah, so regardless of whether people realised it or not, here's the question: like, how did he? Like, okay, maybe the mechanic or his wife somehow was able to build parts of it, and maybe you could do research. Where are you getting the parts? Where are you getting the money? Teaching at a university isn't going to pay that well for all of this stuff. Where are you getting it? Where are you finding all the time, as well as being a teacher, preparing assignments, preparing your lectures? As even with your even with your powers, you still need to make time for that. That specifically, as well as like engineering whatever kinds of situations to get these people on the bus.
He has a massive brain and he can calculate everything, yeah?
That much is pretty much all we know for certain in this season.
Stock market, boy. Stock market. He can just play the stock market like a fool and got a ton of money. There you go. Enough money to build parts now.
Okay. Maybe that's one potentially answered. I won't take that. I won't.
Because we can easily think that's how he does it. That doesn't need to be explained because we can always say he could do this. That's something we don't need an official explanation for because like he's so intelligent. Hell, he could be a Bitcoin miner in person. For God's sake, it literally is so much you can do.
That doesn't answer the rest of the questions though. Like how are you finding the time as well as being a teacher and preparing your lectures and like marking assignments and all of that stuff? You need to dedicate time towards, even with his powers, right? This is just an honest question.
Yeah.
This is me looking at it critically and just sort of trying to put together some of the pieces. How are you finding time to do that as well as engineer whatever ludicrous situations? The only one that really makes sense was Ralph's, because that's the only one that had an explanation for to get these people on the bus. Also, how do we know Ralph was even investigating the mayor at the time and it's not just you taking an educated guess?
Because one, we literally got it said in the thing it was investigating the mayor.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
One sec. Elongate journey into the night. Okay, this transcript is really coming in helpful. Okay. Do I get a cool superhero name? What do you think about Plastic Man? Calling it an job. I think that's the dumbest name I've ever heard of. Yeah, Cisco comes up with names. It's better that way. What do you say? There's just one thing I've got to ask you. What made you look into the Mayor Bellows in the first place? Oh, it was a client. Asked me to follow the mayor. Never met him though. He did everything over the phone. Who was it? He only gave me his last name. Davone.
I remember that part, but that doesn't really say when he got into contact with him. He could have just been waiting for, I don't know, Ralph to get his powers and stuff, or contact him shortly after the bus incident or whatever. There's no real.
I know. He's already doing it beforehand. I know that much because he's already investigated the mayor before getting his powers, or before knowing his powers anyway.
See, I'd say it's the whole before knowing. Like, you can find out that this guy is cheating on his wife at any given point in time. Okay, fine, whatever, I guess. The only storyline that, in my eyes, that's really made sense this season is Ralph's. And in the first half of the season, I'll agree with you. It was brilliant. It was fantastic. I was enjoying every sort of second of it. I was enjoying every mention of Davone. I think where it mostly went downhill, or I started to have a couple of underlying doubts, was this bit in episode 9 where he has sort of taken over Dominic's body, and we've seen that, and he speaks to Barry over the phone. What's the point of putting Barry in jail? There's another storyline plot point I want to know. What's the point of putting Barry in jail? What's the point? Like, okay, fine, you need him out the way, but if your theory is correct and he needs to take over Barry's powers, would it not just be easier to do that without having so many different factors of risk while he's inside prison? Because you know his friends are going to get him out in some way, and truthfully, if he didn't see that coming and he didn't see that Ralph would then learn to be able to shapeshift and turn into Davone, which you know, I'm glad they sort of implied that he did since that one scene where he turned up alive, quote unquote, alive, because Singh said that Davone had been coming in to answer questions. He'd been very cooperative. How is Clifford Davone, our big bad, quote unquote, with air quotation marks there, how has he not been able to predict that? How is it that he can predict everything else, but then some small action that maybe the heroes do at the very last second, he hasn't been able to predict.
Maybe he doesn't care about that, because...
He clearly cared about Barry staying in prison, though, because I remember this much. His wife says the plan was to have the Flash in prison until our plan was complete. She says that.
Really? 1 sec. Let me get the transcript
I
up.
think it was in, 14, which is the last time we saw them, really.
13, I believe. Let me just check.
Come on, you can't tell me that doesn't bring up some questions.
What's all this? This is his wife. What's all this? Well, after last night's success, I thought a toast was in order. Success? Is that what you call last night? Yes. How would you describe it? Barry Allen was supposed to remain in the metahuman wing at Iron Heights, but now he's free. Even Team Flash has good luck sometimes. And the bus metas were supposed to wait until all of them were captured, but you only got 4. I said I would retrieve them from confinement. I never said when or where.
That brings up the question, though. If he needs Barry, as you theorize, because clearly getting Barry to return to Central City from the Speed Force was a big deal. Let's be honest, that much is no secret. That's obviously important to whatever plot.
1 minute.
Just
1 minute. Say hello.
Hello?
Hello. Nice little cameo there, Dylan.
Yeah.
Hello, baby.
Bowen, come on, leave my room.
But it basically comes down to, I think, a total of two, maybe 3. Well, 2 things at least. One, if you theorize Davone's going to take over Barry's mind.
Temporarily though.
Or what, for whatever long, because I think I can understand the reasoning why he'd do that, okay? Let's be honest. We know Barry can heal fast. We know Barry his body would probably survive the dark matter longer, if not permanently, from Davone's mind. Let's be honest about that. That's pretty much a given. So I can accept that one. I can't accept, what good is he going to be to you in the Iron Heights metahuman wing if you're so intent on making him return to Central City in this particular location at this particular moment in time with these particular people in this particular bus? How does that play into your plan?
I just realised he didn't need Barry, did he? Not yet, not at that point anyway. What he needed was the dark matter to give people the powers. Because we know he needs the powers for his plan. The only way he could give him powers was by getting Barry out of Speed Force. God's sake.
Yeah, but then there's the question of why not? You're a smart guy. Why not just go get people from different Earths with the exact same powers? It would literally have no different effect. Then you could just leave the Flash in the Speed Force and just get him out when you need to. Take advantage of him while he's insane, and then hooray, that's your issue solved. Come on, is it just me, or am I a better supervillain? But I'm coming up with more rational parts to his plan than he is, and you'd have this whole planning thing.
Hindsight.
And not just with hindsight, but also with foresight of the way of, you then could have predicted what some of these metas would do. Some would try and ally themselves with this Team Flash. You could have, but imagine if he'd gone and captured them all. He kept them in some cells, and he could have just then taken the bodies he needed at his convenience, or he could have maybe found a speedster from somewhere else, and he could take over the speedster's mind, and then we have pretty much a speedster on speedster duel, but with a guy who's ultra smart, able to predict every move.
Oh, now, that actually sounds a lot better, because then we can literally have somehow...
Now, is it just me?
Somehow...
Is it just me?
Wait, Kaden. Barry called Iris' lightning rod, yeah?
Yeah.
We could have it where Davone, in a different speedster's body, comes along, tries to kill them all, and Barry just busts out the Speed Force. somehow.
See, is it just me, or am I a better villain?
Avatar, just.
Yeah, is it just me, or am I coming up with a better plan than this villain and the writers of The Flash have this season?
Maybe.
You're beginning to see things from my point of view now.
From my point of view, the Devoe's plan's good.
I don't see. Here's the thing. The popular theory right now is that Godspeed will come along at the end of the season and he'll kill Davone.
Oh yeah, that'll be a nice little thing. I hope it happens.
If it happens,
and now you're not playing him. They're gonna get someone good to play him.
Mate, you haven't heard what I've been doing for him of late. I said that last time. But here's the thing, though. Then.
Oh, he needs to be American as well, not British. You were saying?
Here's the thing, though, right? It doesn't. I can't piece together any sort of rational reasoning behind these smaller parts of his plan, or these smaller things that have been said that then make you look back in hindsight. You've gone to the effort to make sure Barry goes to prison, because you know he's not going to testify. You know he's not going to reveal his identity. So why go to all that trouble to just then have this small thing happen that lets him escape? What is the point of it?
I don't know.
I'm really interested. This isn't even the main point of the podcast, and we've spent at least 40 minutes discussing it. It's going to turn out being like a 2-hour plus one. I don't know. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. There are all these small details to me that just don't seem to fit into this plan that Davone has.
We won't be able to record for a long while because battery's still going down to 15% now.
Just put it on charge.
Sorry. I have been. So what I'll probably do is after dinner, I'll probably come back with after the charge. I'll probably come back after dinner, record some more. We should probably start moving on to the final point anyway.
I'm just saying, besides all the discussion and stuff we've had on it, I can't think of anything else for point 2 unless you can, unless you've anything else to say to try and help me wrap my head around all of this. Have you or not?
I don't know. I'm starting to get a headache.
You're getting a headache because I've given you so much evidence as to why I have no hope for this character anymore, or the rest of this season. I go back to what I said. The only character who's really been written stably that's been added in this season is Ralph. Because we've had a fair few characters added in, maybe not as series regulars, but playing different roles and different importance, right? Ralph is the one who's been written the best. But even then, now he has a problem. And that problem is, no matter how good his story arc is and everything that happens along with that, he has got the issue of his storyline into the main plot of the season, whenever that is not going to work very well.
You're saying?
Basically, like, I feel sorry for Ralph's character here because he's written really well, but then the writing's going to end up going downhill if the season stays the way it has been, and I can't see it improving. That's pretty much all I have to say on like my doubts for this season. You okay over there?
I was just thinking, someone put on Reddit, roast me. I found a shared name with a porn star only after I made all my social media accounts. Roast me. Yeah. Tits of a porn star and face of a porn star. I do look like Rick Harrison, don't I? Jesus. You were saying?
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Can you stop
getting I'm closing that because it's getting bad. That's getting bad.
Stop getting distracted. Let's move on to the final point.
Okay, 30%. Yeah. So it'd be best for you to stop recording now, piece it together, and come back after dinner.
No, let's
Or
sort of.
send the file to me, and I'll splice them together some way or another.
All right. Well, before you go, should we just discuss any last sort of lingering bits about the second point in season 4's problems in general, and we can start afresh with the final point when you get back.
Yeah.
So, basically, what I was saying was, I feel sorry for Ralph's character. Like Hartley Doyer playing him, he's done very well. He looks very similar to what he does in the comics. Very good credit.
Wait, what do you call him? What'd you call him?
Hartley Doyer. Sorry, it's Sawyer. I know.
Hartley Sawyer.
Yeah, Hartley Sawyer. I feel sorry for him because he's had the liberty of playing a character who's been written very well throughout the season.
Yeah.
Then you consider like his character arc and storyline is going to have to sort of fit into the main one soon. And we've already seen signs of that. We've seen this buddy system where he's beginning to get annoyed. He's beginning to get sick of having to rely on everyone else to protect him. And it's not written badly, but it's getting to the point where I do feel like the writing of his character will start to deteriorate.
Yeah.
And it's not due to any fault of the actor. I think he'll do the best he can with what he's given. I think he'd be able to redeem the bad writing.
That's all any actor can do. Just do the best that they can with the script they're given.
Candace Patton, your shit.
Oh my god! What did you say?
Candace Patton, your shit. I'll get to that later.
This sounds good. I mean, I'm pretty sure he himself said he hated the "I hate sand" line.
See,
I hate sand line. It's coarse, it's rough, it's irritating, and it annoys everyone. Like someone said, 10 out of 10, Oscar-worthy acting and writing.
I don't know what more I can say with it, because like you look at Ralph's character arc throughout the season, he's gone from arrogant to slowly remembering that like there's more to live for in life than just money, and like trying to
money.
Thank you.
There's more to life than money.
Yeah, I'll let you do that meme every time. I'll let you do the meme every time we mention it now. But
nice.
He slowly realised there's more to life than just planting fake evidence. And also, Dylan.
Yeah.
Meme, please.
Oh, money! Don't call me off guard for a second. Damn it! Oh, just if I have to edit video.
He's slowly realised that there's more to life than that, because he's had this arc from going arrogant to slowly redeeming himself to actually feeling like he's got a place in this team and having friends. So if they've got season 5 planned and they've seen how popular the character is, I won't lie. I won't lie. I think he's one of those characters who was designed in the way of everyone will hate him at the beginning and then they're gonna love him.
Like HR. Like HR.
HR I never really liked, but I sort of...
but other people did.
No, hang on. Let me finish, because I'm about to give some credit here. But
you better.
But I do think that he became quite lovable, and I can see why he became lovable to fans. Even if I felt like the comic relief for the most part wasn't needed, or they over relied on comic relief points during acting. We saw he had a serious side and stuff, and like to see that sort of comes to a very interesting point as well. We see that in 15th episode of season 3, like we could tell he was sort of being done better as a character, and the writers were testing the water with a lot of the comic relief stuff he did. Whereas with this season, I can see why people might hate Ralph at the beginning, then give it a couple of episodes, you're going to love him, he'll be the people's favourite character in the show.
Yeah. Because, I mean, while it is good, money can only get you so far.
It can only get you so far. And Ralph has had this arc where even he is to the point of, like, we've had Killer Frost just slap him some sense into him a couple of times. And
cut itself, so a bit self-harming now too.
yeah, Killer Frost has slapped some sense into him a couple of times. I'm slightly confused on where he went for the crossover, but I won't question that. I'll assume he was off maybe doing some of his actual, job, like private investigating or whatever.
And yeah,
Yeah.
imagine if you had a small camera in the background crossing, it's getting Nazi camera, and people are like, "This is like Ralph."
Because like I find myself feeling like he may be the most powerful bus measure of all in a way. He can shapeshift. He's somewhat invincible to certain things. Like we know he can't be harmed.
The most powerful bus better. Well, of the minds of all the others, there's not a bus better, but still we all that powers here. But if you want to go purely bus betters altogether, then most powerful, one that can control luck.
No, even outside of the luck thing, and let me explain this. People can have bad luck all the time, so what? But then there's the thing that nothing can truly hurt Ralph. You've got to be careful with what you use to hurt him. And we saw what could hurt him in the 11th episode of this season as well, with Axel Walker's trickster acid and stuff. That is one of the few things that could hurt him.
Yeah, along with drowning and strangulation, of course, because he's still got to breathe.
Yeah, but like for the most part, he is invulnerable. It's very hard to do any damage to him.
Oh yeah, just freeze him.
Pardon?
Freeze him. End of.
You could do that, and then that wouldn't really be an issue.
No.
Because he'd be able to find a way out of it. I think even Captain Cold or Heatwave or even speedsters would have trouble trying to fight him. We saw Barry punch him in the face and he had a bit of trouble. We saw that electricity clearly doesn't phase him. I don't think it actually can do anything to rubber, because that's pretty much what he is. I think scientifically, like, rubber can stop electricity or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my overall opinion on it. Here's the question for you. Do you think we need any characters like, I don't know, Julian Albert or something to return this season to try and sort of lift it back
Julian
up?
come back would be cool.
Pardon?
Well, they said Tracy was meant to appear again at some point. Has she? No.
No, she hasn't appeared. But do we think that like characters like Tracy, like Julian, should be brought back?
Yes.
I'd say bringing Julian back would make a lot of sense. He's intelligent. You could put Wells's little thinking cap, own version of the thinking cap on him.
Yeah.
Those two together.
Still hasn't been hit by the Caitlyn curse. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, even Daniel Panamaker herself said to Julian when she saw that their characters getting together, she said, "Julian's probably going to die." Like we just have to show. He's like, "Fuck the shit, I'm out. I'm out before I die."
No, like having him come back as a series regular, not this season maybe, but season 5 would be good. But also, if he were to come back this season, put on Wells' thinking cap. The two of them together, that would probably be how they go against Davone, I think.
Hell, get Trace in there. She was clever too. And then Barry, get them all have their own thinking caps and just have it plugged up to something. Have it plugged up to something.
See, people were theorising very early on. I remember this is like Barry would go into the Speed Force. It kind of did happen in a way, to get, but not in the way that people thought, because they thought he'd go in there to become more and more intelligent. And
Well, become more intelligent than the Speed Force. Didn't exactly help Savitar, did it?
No, but like, I mean, in a way more intelligent so he can, or boost his intelligence so he can counter Davone.
Oh, yeah, I know.
because overall, I know you sent me a meme of it as a joke, but like you said, it said like in season 1 Barry time traveled to the finale of season 4, or it was disappointing sort of thing. I honestly don't think it's going to be that good. I think if your season for the most part hasn't been that good in terms of story, you want things like action scenes and everything to work well.
Yeah.
And I think the finale is the pivotal sort of change point for that. Season 2, I think it wasn't. I think if I enjoyed it, I occasionally found myself going like, okay, what's he doing? But like, it all came together in a very stable narrative form, and the finale was really good for it. And season 3's finale, I think would have been more. I think you should have taken the fight scene from 3x15 and put that in, but that's my only sort of complaint with it. And then this season, what are we going to get? Nothing really. At least not if it's going the way that we think. Okay, so for the first time in episode 14, we nearly got a good action scene this season. It's been very lackluster, and you notice that very, very easily. It's been quite lackluster. Fighting the samurai. Oh, you vibrated through it after it just happened to go and destroy a couple of windmills or whatever. Okay, so? Can you see where I'm going? Dylan. Okay, someone's calling me over Facebook for some reason. But, I can't really end that.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, someone was trying to call me over Facebook. It's just like, why? Now, to be fair, they
muted me.
No, not intentionally, sorry. I was basically saying...
No, I did, when it was ringing you, I was applying, and you were like, Dylan, I was applying, and nothing.
Nah, basically, it was this whole thing of just like, here's, in my opinion, there's the situation of if you're lackluster in terms of like a good story or at least a coherent one.
No.
Then can you pause whatever the background noise is, please? Then you want to have, I don't know, maybe good action scenes, maybe good side plots, even if they're not there for the entire season. Yeah, hello, I'm still here. We're not having this difficulty again, are we? Dylan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, can you hear me again? Dylan? Fucking... Can you hear me?
There we go.
There we go. Okay. No, I was basically saying, if you don't have a very good or coherent story in terms of the season, you want things like maybe action scenes or side plots or whatever to try and make up for it. I think the action scenes so far have been quite lackluster this season. We nearly got a good action scene, or scenes rather, sorry, in episode 14 of all places.
Huh.
Of this season.
Oh, was that
both with the cerebral inhibitor and when they first meet, or when rather Davone first comes after Izzy and stuff.
No.
The only side plot that has really made it like worth watching and even slightly close to redeemed is Ralph's. I'm just going to quickly pause the podcast, mate, because I'm being called.
Alright.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, podcast is back. Sorry about that. No, the season so far has only been worth watching because of Ralph, I think, or Ralph and his interactions with other people. Danielle Panabaker hasn't really had much to do with Caitlyn when you think about it logically. And that's not really down to her though. That's not really her fault. They haven't given her much to do. It's the same with Cisco. It's the same with Harry and all the rest of them.
Oh my god.
But that's really the only opinion I have on it. Since I think you'll still be a while, shall we start discussing the final point?
No.
Why not?
Because low battery.
How low?
Well, let me just say, it keeps on when it goes up a percent, after a couple minutes goes down again, then goes back up, and then the next one down. It's second forever. Like since I put it on charge, it was like 30%, 15 minutes at that moment. Yeah.
Okay. No, like to me, it's a very sort of
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of a idea. I don't really know what I can say. I don't think that it's going to be redeemed. I don't think it can be redeemed, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me the season's dead, but we'll start discussing anyway, because I don't plan to discuss the third one for too long. I was going to originally, but we've spent a lot of time discussing this, and you can put a lot of it into like the same perspective with this point. So let's discuss why I personally hate Iris West. I don't think it's a surprise at this point, to be fair, but like also there are good reasons, and I think a lot of it comes down to like the way her character's been written and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So there's that issue, but it's also due to Candice Patton's acting. She either can't act with what she's being given, or the story arcs are okay, but she can't act them very well. Because we've seen she can act the character, albeit sometimes bad, sometimes good, most of the time shit.
No.
I will, however, say this in defense of her character. Season 1 is like just being Barry's friend, as she's mostly known for being in the comics before, or like, before Wally and all that comes along. That works perfectly fine. That was perfectly fine. It did well. Season 2 was alright. Season 3, you could tell instantly, no. Just no. And then you get to the most recent episode, and you see the acting she does in that. And in my opinion, truthfully, if she can act that well, or she can try and, at the very least, make me hate her character less, why can't you do that the rest of the time? Now, I don't know about you. I think the main cause... Well, there's two main causes. The writing and Candice Patton's acting. The writing itself isn't completely awful, but the acting doesn't really help the character of Iris's cause. And with the writing she seems to be given, and as a character, it's almost like they're trying to make Iris West the main focus of the show. The show is called The Flash, not the Iris West.
But Kanan, we are the Flash.
I swear you're just trying to piss me off now.
Oh, come on. Anyone watching this would probably have thought of that name.
Yeah, probably, but then there's the point of, like, I don't care. I'm honestly past caring about her character. There's nothing really about her character that screams, I'm emotionally invested in this character. It's, they should have killed off her character and maybe have her come back in a different way. Like, similar to what they did, similar to maybe, like, what they've done with, Barry's father being killed. Have a doppelganger of Iris come along, please, as long as it was better written.
Come here, doppelganger Iris. You're much better than normal Iris.
No, but here's the thing. I think you could write a doppelganger of Iris better, and you could write a very interesting arc into the show about with Barry being haunted by that. Not just for the one episode, but for several.
Yeah.
And instead, I find myself sort of stuck thinking, like, why can't you do this? Why do you need to have this character try and either be the solution to every problem, or be indirectly the solution? What's the reasoning behind that? If you've got an answer, please give it to me.
I don't.
You don't. I said this on the comment of a YouTube video, and I didn't go too in depth about it. I would have done here, but again, you can link a lot of this to stuff I said about my rant on season 2. She has what I like to call Felicity Smoke syndrome.
Yeah.
Would you like me to explain what that is?
For our viewers, yes. However, to quote Rick from Rick and Morty, people will get this. I might go take a shit. No. I literally lived up just like that. I'm not actually going. I'm still here.
No, Felicity Smoke syndrome is basically this idea that you start off with a good or an alright character. Like, maybe not everyone will like it, but it will work well. It degrades down a bit to it's not as good as it was before, but it's alright. You go to the point where you're just like, oh, hang on, I'm getting a bit worried for this character here, and then they turn all out shit. For Felicity, this has worked in stages. Season 1, she was an alright character. Season 2, she went a bit downhill. Like, okay, alright, you're not there yet. Season 3, her character was forgettable, so I can't really make much of a judgment, but it was more or less the same place as in Season 2. So, again, I'm still a bit worried for it. Season 4, I actually enjoy the sort of character arc that she has. And Season 5, it just goes straight down to shit. It goes straight... It just goes straight away. It's gone. Like, there's nothing there for her character. There's no reason to invest in her character. They did the whole sort of hinting at the fact that she's the oracle of the universe with the whole she's paralyzed thing in Season 4, which I really enjoyed the sort of character arc for. I personally think you should have made that last longer, but there we go. Because it would have with characters like Felicity and Iris, there's no stakes. There's no sort of issue of them being in harm's way. Because no matter what, the writer will leave them alive. They're not going to disappear.
I mean, look at when Earbard was literally just ready to kill Felicity.
Yeah.
It's like, so close, we can take... Oh, and she's still alive, for God's sake. That sums it up. She's gonna die, she's alive. For God's sake, Earbard, should have been quicker. Damn it.
See, here's the thing. You know, regardless of whatever happens, right, that characters like Felicity and Iris live, because they're not going to kill them off. They're not going to do anything to get rid of them. And you're going to lose all the fucking horny 13-year-old boys that way. So probably you, Dylan.
Oh, I am 18, thanks very much. No comment about the other part. No, I'm just joking.
But then there's the issue of the fans who are getting fed up.
No, I'm not.
And there's a very public... There's clearly a very large group of fans who are saying, no, there's nothing you can do with these characters. You can't make them interesting anymore. I look at the character of like Thea Queen maybe from Arrow, and I know Otis. They've done things to help her character evolve. They've given us reason to like her character because they've tried new and interesting story arcs. The thing with Caitlyn and like a lot of the people she loved dying and everything is not really a big problem because they adapted it in small ways. With Iris, it's literally just carbon copy each season. Only this time, for some reason, there's very inconsistent plot points, like, oh, she's the leader of Team Flash. Not really. Barry's the one making all the decisions. Since he got out, you've barely contributed to anything. Or with Felicity, it's like, I can hack this and I want revenge and stuff for my boyfriend being killed by this throwing star dude, and to do that I'm going to have a go at everyone, but the next episode I'm going to be perfectly fine with them again.
Oof.
So it's one of those situations where either you're reusing storylines a lot, or you've got another problem where it's just carbon copies of what the storylines were, and you're doing it in a cycle, and it's never-ending sort of thing. To quote Cisco, it's a closed loop. No end, no begin. Well, no beginning, no end. Yeah, pretty much. And then you hear the outcry of these fans, and you're just like, it's a call for one of two things.
It's like the cries of a million fans it's like fans just cried out and were silenced.
When you've got an outcry from fans this big and the number of fans hating these two characters, you have two options. You can, one, slowly adapt over time. It won't be easy to create a new story arc for them that will invest people emotionally and that will put these characters at risk, and they're not going to survive everything, or they're not going to come out of everything completely unscathed. Or two, kill them off.
Yeah.
It's one of those positions where, like, you care more for the sake of just having someone there as fan service, and, like, bearing in mind, Felicity Smoke as a whole is a completely original character. Her very name is like an Easter egg to Firestorm from the comics, like Felicity Raymond or whatever being his stepmother. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't really have any issue towards it. What I've got is
well, this is Mark Guggenheim. Can't get Felicity wrong if Felicity didn't exist.
See, here's the thing, though. You can get characters wrong even if they didn't exist, though. And here's the way you do that. You do that by digging yourself into a hole that you're literally just using carbon copies of those storylines again. Look.
1 second, it's called.
Okay. So.
Well, I'm middle recording something. Well, it'd be best for us to do the end of the episode now, and then you can go back to your rant and then end it off by yourself. Because I've got to have dinner.
No, I'm pretty much sort of near the end of it anyway. So can you spare? I don't know.
Finish it off.
2 minutes.
Yeah, just give shout out to my game and that.
No, can you spare like 2 minutes quickly?
I'll try.
Because we'll wrap up the point and then end.
Cool.
So,
hopefully the audio's still there.
Yeah, the audio should still be there. I think it was just a matter
of. It's been there for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Otherwise, we've wasted like 2-3 hours in terms of like us having to.
And I'll come to your house and I'll kill you.
No. Please don't. But it's a situation of if you don't take one of the two options, you end up with a very sort of public fan outcry, and then you've got to try and figure out, and then you go into panic mode of, hang on, shit, fans aren't happy. Best find a way to get these actors their money with something that makes the fans a bit happier.
Money.
Thank you. But it's literally it's literally that on a loop, and I don't see the future changing, because I shared you a meme once of like a cartoon sort of fan of a cartoon board meeting where they're discussing, oh, what should we do with Iris, and like there's this one guy who's just there like sort of quietly saying, let's kill off Iris, and then there's the other saying, let's give Iris super speed. You can guess which one is getting thrown out the window, and he does.
I'm so going to make that a meme. I've done it before with Christ on Earth X. I've actually done that before with Christ on Earth X. I am now going to... I actually did it kind of wrong anyway. But now I understand it properly. I'm so going to make that an actual meme now.
Yeah, because, like, again, with these characters, they're never in harm's way because you know they're going to survive. The only time either of them have been in harm's way is when Felicity was shot in the spine. I was like, oh shit, have they actually killed her off?
Yeah. And then, no, she's back. Like Martin, everyone thought everyone thought he was going to survive, but he was still worried. And then he got killed off permanently.
Yeah, but there's obviously out-of-universe reasons for that, so...
Oh, yeah. But everyone thought maybe he's going to be taken back to the ship and recuperate and he retires. Nope, killed off permanently.
They had teased a long time before then that there was a grave and stuff. But if I'm to talk realistically, I don't...
Oh, and here's that meme I made a while back.
Okay, thank you.
That's all right. Yeah, I did it a while back anyway, so...
it's just... Yep. See, it's literally that situation. It's pretty much that situation, but with the text swapped around. It doesn't change.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And, like, do you want to know what other show has literally an entire cast with Felicity Smoke Syndrome?
What?
Black Lightning. Yes.
Oh, for God's sake!
Yes. No, but, like, it's because, again, it doesn't have a very consistent story point. But I've said my piece on that before, and fuck knows what's to it. I've not watched any of the new episodes.
Don't fish out now, please.
Yeah, sure. So I think we've pretty much sort of covered it all, haven't we? Really, in terms of like why I hate Iris.
I'm about to grab that picture, by the way, and it's not been. Oh wait. So where is it? I hope it's pinned.
Yeah, while you grab that, and while I sort of post something quickly. Hey, no, you could literally take another character
from Jeff has.
You know, you could literally take another character for whatever reason.
Never mind then. I'm not looking for the image now.
Yeah, you could take a character for whatever reason and do stuff like that. No.
Yeah.
So Aries will change it around. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the things you can do to help her on the screen, we do particularly need an animator.
And we also do need a character modeler and animator on, well, I say we. My team needs it on my fan game as well.
Just set up your own podcast series, mate.
Literally, there's no point in doing it. Like, there's gonna be updates, but just it's a little cameo. Come on, it doesn't matter. I'm the co-host anyway. I'm also the co-director of Lightning's Retribution. Yeah. So,
no, but, I think
we need basically everything that's on the image shown. That's needed for Lightning's Retribution. We also need it on my game as well.
Yeah.
So
I think that's everything. Shall we discuss Iris a bit more in depth next podcast? Do you think, and sort of
no,
hang on,
no,
you've not heard the full idea.
No,
but discuss
no. Hang up.
But discuss how they can improve the character.
Possibly.
We'll do the same with Felicity as well, so it'll add in a nice little spin to it. So thank you everyone for listening to the Lightning's Retribution Flash Fangame podcast. If you come up with it,
with a small cameo from Speedstar, a Flash Fangame.
We'll see you next time. As always, have a good day, night, evening, or morning.
In about 4 weeks, so see ya.
Peace.
Peace.